Gervonta "Tank" Davis is one of the most criticized fighters in boxing today. A huge amount of fans claim that Gervonta Davis has not fought any elite boxers. Those fans say that Tank is a 30-year-old prospect because he only takes easy fights that he knows he can win without too many complications. But those fans are wrong. Saying that Gervonta Davis hasn't fought anyone and that he's a cherry picker is one of the biggest lies in boxing today.
He cannot go into deep water, and we showed him what sharks do.
In 2017, when Tank was just a young 22-year-old boxer, he became the first man to defeat Jose Pedraza and the only one to knock him out. At that time, Pedraza was the International Boxing Federation world champion at 130 pounds and was an undefeated boxer with a record of 22 wins, 12 of them by knockout. However, that was not enough for the young Gervonta Davis at that time to savagely destroy Pedraza in that fight.
Say I was breaking him down. He was tough, so he tried to play it off, but I seen that I would bring him down.
3 years later, Gervonta Davis brutally knocked out Leo Santa Cruz, who at the time was one of the best boxers in Mexico and boxing in general, and he was also a world champion. But the big excuse of Tank's detractors is to say that Gervonta forced Leo Santa Cruz to move up from 126 pounds to 130 pounds to fight him, and that is false. Before fighting Tank, Leo had already fought at 130 pounds when he fought Miguel Flores in 2019. So people who say that Gervonta made Leo Santa Cruz move up a weight division to fight him are lying. It should be noted that Gervonta Davis is the only man who has been able to knock out Leo Santa Cruz in a fight.
That's basically what it was. If I knew he was soft, I would have got him out of there.
Just a few months later in 2021, Gervonta Davis became the first man to defeat and knock out Mario Barrios, who at that time, if I'm not mistaken, was interim champion at 140 pounds, and currently Mario Barrios is the world champion at 147 pounds. Barrios, the champion in a weight division 2 times higher than Tank's, and that means that Gervonta Davis accepted a fight in which he was clearly at a physical disadvantage. Barrios was much bigger than him, but that was not enough to stop Tank. Before continuing, don't forget to subscribe and like this video so the channel grows and we can bring you more content about the beautiful world of boxing. That same year in his next fight, Gervonta Davis defeated Isaac Pitbull Cruz. At that time, Pitbull was considered a boxer with terrifying knockout power, and many fans claimed that he was the future of boxing, to the point of saying that Pitbull was a little Mike Tyson. However, Gervonta beat him, and again, Tank's detractors found an excuse to discredit him. They say that Pitbull won the fight and that the judges gave the victory to Tank, but that is ridiculous. Gervonta Davis clearly won, and there shouldn't even be a debate about the result of that fight. The only reason why people say that Tank lost that fight is because Pitbull Cruz survived the 12 rounds and was not knocked out. But in that fight, Tank broke his hand, so it was very unlikely that he would get a knockout.
Impact y'all up.
Nah, nigga,
if it was serious, if it was personal, I would have been an address niggas at that house.
Shortly after, in 2022, Gervonta Davis knocked out Rolly Romero. People have short memories, but Rolly, before losing against Tank Davis, was considered a guy with enormous knockout power, and he was also an undefeated boxer in 14 fights, with 12 of them by knockout. Rolly was also a young boxer and was considered by many people one of the best prospects in the division, but Tank simply destroyed him easily.
He said, "I just can't see from the right eye." He was blind by the shots that Gervonta Davis gave him.
Then Tank defeated and knocked out Hector Luis Garcia, another undefeated boxer who was a world champion, but people again used the excuse that Tank made one of his rivals move up in weight to fight him, and they didn't give him credit for that victory, even though Tank literally blinded his opponent for a moment due to the enormous power of his punches.
Once I touch that jaw, you're going to sleep. I'll probably break your jaw. Facts.
In 2023, Gervonta Davis got the biggest win of his career after knocking out Ryan Garcia, who was also considered one of the best fighters at 135 pounds. Obviously, after that loss, Tank's detractors started saying that Ryan Garcia was an overrated fighter and that Tank's win had no merit. But time shut their mouths a few months later when Ryan Garcia destroyed Devin Haney, who is supposedly a boxer that Gervonta Davis ducked, according to his haters. And you can use the rehydration clause as an excuse, but with or without a clause, the result was not going to change.
open.
That's
I
cool.
promise you. I promise you.
Yeah, you got it.
I promise your whole
What did you do?
jaw.
Why you so mad?
I'm gonna break you up. I'm telling you.
And finally, Gervonta Davis defeated Frank Martin, who was another boxer considered by many people as one of the best prospects at 135 pounds. Martin was an undefeated boxer who was backed from the beginning by Errol Spence, but none of that mattered to Gervonta, who knocked out and destroyed Frank Martin in that fight.
Definitely face a boxing. Absolutely.
Gervonta Davis has some big names on his records, but fans just go around discrediting his opponents after he defeats them, and in my opinion, that is stupid. Gervonta Davis is one of the most spectacular fighters that boxing has, and he should get the credit he deserves. Since the fight against Pedraza, Gervonta defeated 7 undefeated boxers. Since that period, all of Gervonta Davis's opponents have a record of 318 wins and only 12 losses. Most of those boxers were world champions. Gervonta Davis has faced some great opposition since he was 22. Tank Davis is definitely not a cherry picker. Saying that is just stupid.